Hey Peter, how you doing?
Hey, I'm so honored to be part of this podcast and really get you giving me the opportunity to be able to touch your tribe, your network, and it's fantastic. I love what you do, so keep doing what you're doing, and I just hope that we can add phenomenal value to your tribe today.
See, everybody, he's already blowing me up. This is why I like this guy. Like, he makes me feel like 10 times bigger than I actually am. This guy's absolutely fantastic, right? But seriously, Peter, tell my audience about yourself and your work.
Well, it's so I had been I am a chiropractor. I've been a chiropractor for 23 years. And through that time, I've been a pretty insane athlete. I am a avid mountain biker. I skydive, hang glide, rock climb, anything to scratch the adrenaline itch. So I guess you could say I was like an adrenaline junkie. And through my chiropractic years, I had always had back pain, even as a chiropractor. I was helping patients with back pain, and they'd be like, "Hey, doc, can you help me with my spine?" I'm like, "Absolutely." But I always had that deep, dark secret that I had pain myself. So, kind of living in a contradiction there, saying I'm adjusting people, helping them, but why can't I help myself? And I always attributed to my daily back pain to skydiving or mountain biking and my mountain biking crashes, or just being hunched over adjusting patients all day. I always had back pain. I had shoulder pain. I had a shoulder impingement. I attributed that to rock climbing. So I always justified my pain away, saying, you know what, pain's got to be normal. I mean, I'm young, and so I have pain, but it's normal for me, but not normal for everybody else. Until one day I was mountain biking, I was on this big log that was about 6 to 8 feet off of the ground, and my back was bothering me, and I twisted. And when you twist on a mountain bike, your handlebars are going to turn. And because I was on a log, you don't have a lot of places to go. So I had to jump off of the log, and when I compressed the bike, I felt my back twinge. And next thing you know, 48 hours later, I'm in the emergency room. My leg is numb. I can't feel my leg. I'm hooked up on IVs of drip morphine because I was in intense pain because I herniated my disc. So think about this. I'm a chiropractor for, at that time, 16 years, been working with patients, and I'm lying in the emergency room with a herniated disc myself. So it wasn't a really good place for me to be, but I knew, I'm like, I got to get to the bottom of this. Why did this happen to me? So when I started to, go down my quest as to how this happened to me, I said, you know what? I know there's a pattern. So I started reviewing x-rays. At the end of it, I reviewed 3,000 x-rays, and I came up with a pattern that I didn't have a back problem all these years. I had a neck issue that, because of my sleeping posture, started pushing my neck forward, and we'll talk about this. So then I started to come up with a specific way to sleep in order to offset that. So voila, I'm in the sleep industry, and I'm helping people with something that we coined sleep posture. So that's kind of where the whole history of how I became a sleep expert is. I took my, now 23 years of chiropractic and kinesiology. Kinesiology is the study of biomechanics. I'm also I was a professional trainer, and I put all that together, why people injure themselves, how people can stay in the game longer. And I put all that together, and I now help people improve their health while they sleep.
So especially when I was earlier in my journey, and I have clients that, don't really train as much, especially with weight training and stuff like that, right? And I would realize that whenever they do certain workouts, they would, the word I would use is compensate with using certain body parts, right? So for example, if someone has a weakness in their shoulders, I would see they push their neck forward when they work out. or something like that, right? And those are some of the little things that we do or that turn into bigger problems later on. Just like you're saying, when we're sleeping, we don't have the right posture. So we may feel the issue in our back, but the issue may not be in the back necessarily, maybe another part of the body based on how your posture actually is. And these are things that we need to focus on, which we do not enough. Because the general person, if I feel something in my back, I'm going to think there's a problem with my back. I don't know any better. I'm not the expert here, but you as the expert may see something different than that. So I love how you put that together. So then I want to kind of talk more on the topic of sleep before I even get into the whole posture part. So then what led you to the point to say, okay, I need to focus on sleep? And what gems did you kind of like discover along the way?
So that's good. I'm a person that likes fact, right? I love data. And I understand 3 laws. The first law is the righting reflex. Basically, simply stated, your body posture will adjust to your head position. So depending on how you hold your head, your body posture is going to adjust to that. Then Davis's law says that tissue will remold based on the stresses or forces that are applied to it. And then Wolff's law says that bone will restructure based on the stress that applied to it. So basically, all what all of that means is your spine is like clay, and it can be molded. Just like if you go to Africa and you see the people with the big plates in their lips or their ears, that doesn't just happen. They stretch the tissue over years and years and years and years because they're putting different stresses on the tissue, and the tissue will adapt. So I started thinking, well, if I do not have the proper structure in my spine, then based on these laws, I have a head position issue, and my body is adjusting to that. And I know that tissue remolds itself. So then I started to say, listen, when am I in one position for the longest during the day? And that's at night when I sleep. So I came up with this structure and system on how to remold the spine when you sleep. So does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yes. So
Yeah.
is that then tied into your assessment on your website?
No. So once I started to dive into the sleep structure, people started asking me questions, right? And because I've loved sleep all of these years, I mean, I started just diving into it. They ask, what food should I eat? When should I stop eating? What position should I sleep in? Elevated sleep in. How do I use my covers? What temperature should I keep my house at? So what I did is my years in practice were really functioned on the autonomic nervous system, the system that controls all your organs, and they're sympathetic and parasympathetic. So that is my expertise in practice. So I took all of that information and started building this sleep education system. And when somebody goes to drsleepright.com, they take a quiz. That quiz is out of the top issues that people are having with out there right now that I see.
I love that. So I'm hearing a couple of things. The first thing that I'm hearing is you're looking at your posture and you're saying, well, what time am I in the same posture for the longest? Which is, of course, when you sleep, unless you're riding and doing marathons when you're sleeping, which I hope you're not, right? So that's the one thing.
Or you're tossing and turning all night long because you're not in the right position.
Or you're tossing and turning all night long. That's another good one too. And then the sleep assessment also looks at that, but may also look at the other habits that are involved in getting quality sleep, like resetting your circadian rhythm, so on and so forth, based on the things that you're actually doing. So it's all in, because a lot of times like I said, we talk about sleep, but we only talk about sleep from a circadian part, rhythm aspect, but we don't talk about the posture part. So when you put those two together, you're looking at possibly a more favorable result, or at least a complete assessment, I should say. So I love that you put that together.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the anchors that I believe is missed in all healthcare is the importance. Like, what I'll ask you a question as I do my clients and my patients. What controls everything in the human body? The answer is the brain.
Oh,
And
good one. Yes.
how does it control? Well, it controls it through the central nervous system. So if the central nervous system is controlling everything, and the structure of your spine directly affects the integrity and the health of that central nervous system, how important is it to maintain a healthy spine in order to maintain a healthy nervous system? Because the nervous system is controlling everything. So if the spine is out of alignment, it's like watering a garden, stepping on the garden hose. And that nerve is going to malfunction. And if that nerve is going to the digestive tract, you will have a digestive tract that's out of balance, not due to the food imbalance that you're eating, right? It's due to pressure on the nerve. So the structure of your spine doesn't just affect, your pain, it affects the health and well-being of your central nervous system. And when you start sleeping on your back, in specific positions, or you start improving the structure, you improve the integrity of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your thrive systems. And just by changing your sleeping position or improving it, you're going to lose weight, you're going to get more restful sleep, you're going to have better digestion, your hormones are going to regulate more effectively, because you're allowing the parasympathetic nervous system to function more efficiently, because you're improving the structure of your spine while you sleep.
You're reading my mind, because I was gonna go there. I really was gonna go there. I wanted to talk about the parasympathetic nervous system for a little bit, because I was thinking, okay, if you have proper sleep posture, is it then, and correct me if I'm wrong, or because I'm really just paraphrasing right here. So if you have correct sleep posture, you're looking at less stress on your body, which is then at that point is more, it's activating more of the parasympathetic than the sympathetic, because when your body is under stress, your sympathetic nervous system is going to be activated. But if your body is in alignment like it should be, relieving a lot of that stress, then your parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest, would be activated, hence less tossing and turning at night as well, improving the quality of your sleep. Am I making any sense?
You're making sense. Let me just let me tighten that
Yes,
rationale
please.
a little bit. So when you are in the right sleeping posture, you are actually at the beginning, you're going to stress the tissue a little bit more. So it's going to be a little bit more uncomfortable. But just as remolding clay, as that clay remolds, it's like taking your foot off of the garden hose. Then the parasympathetic nerve, which is called your vagus nerve, is going to start now flowing more efficiently. And because the structure is improving, it takes pressure off of the vagus nerve, and then the vagus nerve can function more efficiently, which then stimulates your vagus nerve, just due to improving the structure. So it's get the right sleeping position. Understand when you start to remold clay, it is not very, how do you say it?
Comfortable at first, maybe?
There could be some discomfort at the beginning, but as the clay starts to remold, now you're in this effortless sleeping position. You could put a glass of water on my chest, and that glass of water will still be on it in the morning when I wake up. I do not toss and turn.
I love it. You know what? I may try that with myself, but just in case, I may have somebody around me, just in case I drown or something. But I love that. I love that. And thank you so much for really tightening that up and really explain that to my audience, because that's something that we're absolutely missing. And just to let everybody know, by the way, Dr. Martone and I do have a partnership where on his website you can get 20% off his services. I'll make sure that the link to his services are in the show notes and the description of the episode as well. So you can check that out and learn more about his work and get a discount on his work as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, we're still talking about sleep. We're still talking about posture, which is basically what this entire episode is about, right? But this is going to sound like play on words a little bit. But what does it mean when we say get quality sleep?
That's so when you, so picture, I like this. So right now, my internet is down in my house, right before this episode. So, and then I'm like, oh no. So I look at my iPhone and the battery's done. I had to do a Zoom call earlier. So the more I use my iPhone, the more performance I expect out of my iPhone, the more I'm going to do what? I'm going to drain the battery and need to plug it in. So sleep is just exactly the same as that. The more performance you want out of your body, the more you exercise, the more focus you want, the more mental acuity you want, the more sleep and rest you need. And it's very important to recharge to get good quality sleep, because all sleep is not created equal. So if you take a melatonin or you take a Tylenol PM and it just knocks you out, you're not getting you're getting like low voltage charging. It's like charging with like a 9-volt battery. You want to plug into one of these high speed chargers, into the wall. So in order to do that, your body needs to cycle through 4 to 5 nice smooth sleep cycles. So anywhere from deep sleep up to REM sleep, back down to deep sleep, REM sleep, bless you. So there should be this nice cyclic sleep patterns. And if we don't go through those good natural sleep cycles, you might get 8 hours of sleep, but you wake up, you're drained, and you want to go back to sleep because you're not getting good quality sleep.
Now you got my mind is really however well my brain can work at this point, but my mind is going right now because I'm thinking about some stuff when we talk about melatonin, because that's one of the go-tos, right? Take NyQuil or one of them, whatever, knock me out, let me go to sleep. So then my first question to you is, are we saying that if we were to take something that basically pounds your sleep into submission, you're not properly going through the right let's say all the cycles of sleep?
Correct, especially at the beginning. Like melatonin will drop you down into sleep, knock you out. Then a lot of times what will happen is towards the end of your sleep pattern, you'll get crazy dreams because you get this sleep that drops you low, and then you get this almost, it's called REM rebounds. You'll end up getting like you'll get your REM later on in your sleep cycle. So people get crazy dreams when they take melatonin because they're out deep, not deep sleep, but like this subcomatose sleep. And then at the end, they get a nasty REM rebound. And so I don't like to take hormones. Most of the time, people aren't taught how to sleep correctly, right? They're taught to just lie down, go to bed, think, close your lights, shut off the TV, dim everything. But that doesn't help. That doesn't tell people how to sleep. And the biggest thing that's going to happen when people fall asleep is their mind's going to start thinking. And when you start thinking, there's no way you're going to be able to go to sleep because the blood goes to the wrong part of your brain. And then people think, then all of a sudden they think so much that they finally doze off. And then they because their brain was actively thinking, they're going to wake up 15 times a night because they're not going to sleep correctly.
Interesting. My next question is, how do you feel about, let's say you travel outside of your time zone or something like that? So like from time to time, taking some melatonin. What's your thought process on that?
I think that's a great, effective way I travel all over the country. I hate it. I'm going to Vegas in a few days. I was in LA. Then, I was in Austin, Texas, Miami, and that was all the last 5 weeks. Yeah, that's a good way to use melatonin because your circadian clock is off anyways. So in lieu of not being able to get any sleep at all, it's good to use melatonin to drop you into a sleep.
I love that. I love that you say that, because one of my things is, and I've had this discussion with many individuals, because we have the all or nothing mindset. Okay, melatonin is good, melatonin is bad. supplements are good, supplements are bad. Carbs is good, carbs is bad. But what you're explaining, being an expert in the field, and even with myself in weight management, is hardly ever like good or bad mentality, right? It's like using it for, it's like a tool, using it for the right reasons. Keto is the same way. I don't think keto is bad. I think keto can be used in many good ways to heal a leaky gut if need to. Vegan is not bad. There are times when being a vegan can help you to detox, but I don't believe in those things as far as like sustainable over time. I don't believe in it, right? So I and the same thing with melatonin. You take, remember, like you said, melatonin is a hormone, right? So you're taking something. However, if you have the right sleep posture and your circadian rhythm is operating like it should, hence you wouldn't need to take a hormone every single time. But if you travel outside of your time zone, your clock is going to be off no matter what you do, and it can help to have some melatonin in those situations.
Yeah, and then I have a supplement called Deep Sleep, and it has 0.4 to 0.5 milligrams of melatonin, but because it's in there not to knock you out, not enough to knock you out, but it also has GABA in it. So in melatonin and GABA helps release serotonin, which helps calm you down. So to use both of them together, melatonin helps GABA be absorbed. So you use a little bit of melatonin, not enough to affect somebody's sleep, but you can use it to help other minerals be absorbed. So I'm not like all no melatonin. I just don't like melatonin to just knock people out on a regular basis. Just like I don't recommend taking a supplement every single day. You need to, or the same supplement. I with my patients and in my sleep tribe, I change supplements seasonally because your nutritional needs change seasonally. You don't need the same nutritional needs as you do in the winter than as you do in the summer, in the spring. And so I believe in variations in products all the time. Personally.
Amen, brother. If my guitar wasn't so far away from me, I would just play something for that piece right there. That's absolutely beautiful, my man. That's beautiful. And let's talk about some products that you do. Well, first, I want to talk about the product you just mentioned with the melatonin and the GABA. So let's say you're working with someone. Would that be a product if they say they were I don't know, everybody's different. This is kind of like a general idea here. Would they use that product on a daily basis, or only when they travel outside of, let's say, their time zone or something like that?
Now, I don't like to take anything daily, personally, me. So I don't even take deep sleep on a daily basis. This is how I personally take deep sleep. I exercise at a very competitive level on Tuesdays, and then Fridays, and then on Saturday or Sundays. And if I exercise late at night, my heart rate's still high. In order to get good, deep sleep, few things need to happen. Your heart rate needs to drop quickly, and your body core temperature needs to drop quickly. So I use deep sleep on Tuesday nights, Friday nights, and then Saturdays to be able to help support my heart rate dropping, my capillary beds opening. So deep sleep is designed to calm you and dilate your blood vessels so your body can temperature regulate out your hands and your feet so your core temperature drops quickly so you get better deep sleep. So I do that about 3 or 4 times a week. And that's how I use it. Now, I have patients that use it every night. I do not, that's not my suggestion, but you could, but I don't, my suggestion is use deep sleep 3 or 4 times a week.
Perfect. And what are some other products that you do offer, or even services that you do offer to help people with their sleep?
Yeah. So another, we touched on it, and I think it really requires a little bit more perspective. We should go back to it. Is the parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic nervous system is everything. So you have survive and thrive. You had mentioned, right? So your survive systems are cardiovascular, respiratory, musculoskeletal, maintaining body core temperature. Those are survival systems. And then your thrive systems are digestion, reproduction, and immune system. So your body wants to survive before it wants to thrive. So you can't run from a tiger and eat a sandwich at the same time because you're surviving, right? And so you can't do that. so the reason why people get sick is because they don't nurture those Thrive systems as much. And then in the wintertime, as there's more stress on the body, the Thrive systems get even more suppressed. The immune system gets suppressed, and then viruses can come in. You know, the flu doesn't go anywhere during the summertime. It's always here. It's just your body is stronger because the parasympathetic nervous system is stronger. So one of the things that I like to do with my products is really nurture the parasympathetic nervous system. And what we find is that pressure on your eyes when you sleep is a good biohack to be able to create a protective environment and be able to stimulate a parasympathetic nervous response to be able to allow you to sleep. So I love, for a really inexpensive price, getting a nice sleep mask. So we sell these things. Just a light pressure on your eyes helps people fall asleep. It also blocks light. So we have the sleep mask is another product that we have. And then after I herniated my disc, I started to like pull fill out of pillows and readjust pillows and make pillows that worked for me. And then I had talked to a good friend of mine, Joe Mercola, and I had Dr. Mercola, I presented all my information about forward head posture and reactive psoas major muscle spasms, which is the only muscle that attaches to a disc. So I didn't have back problems, I had neck problems. And he's like, you gotta come up and invent a pillow. I'm like, what? I said, I'm not a pillow guy. So we invented a pillow called the Neck Nest. And the Neck Nest is a pillow that is designed to restructure your cervical curve, your neck curve, while you sleep by adopting what's called a neutral sleeping position. So we have the Neck Nest, we got the deep sleep, and then we have the sleep mask. And then we have the education platform that puts it all together. That really, I don't like selling just products. I like education. I'm a doctor, I'm a teacher, and I'm out here doing what I do for you, right? To be able to help create a more well-rested world and be able to help them in so many ways with improving their sleep.
Well, thank you for that. And I do love it. I do love what you're sharing. That's some good information, especially when we're talking about the posture piece. That's one piece. Then we're looking at the deep sleep, which again, it's not melatonin that's gonna knock your sleep into submission, but it helps your body to absorb GABA, which is great. And I'm sure there are other sides to that as well. Plus with the sleep mask, so that's all putting that together, along with, of course, improving your circadian rhythm, which is the educational piece, can help you with your sleep. So that's absolutely fantastic. Anybody that's struggling with sleep, or you just want to improve your sleep quality, check out this information. I guess I'm going to have to be the salesman here. And once again, I'm going to have to say the link will be in the show notes, the description of the episode, to get 20% off his services. Check him out. Improve your sleep because it's vital for longevity and health, weight management, stress reduction. I mean, the list can go on and on and on and on and on. And with that being said, thank you so much for being here. Audience, thank you for listening. And I'm going to get this show out the way so I can get ready for sleep.